We've long been fascinated with dinosaurs, and as Chip Reed reports, that intense interest has led to an illegal and lucrative market in smuggled dinosaur bones.
On television and in the movies, people can't get enough of T-Rex. Its less well-known cousin, the Tarbosaurus, seen in this artist rendering, is also formidable and very valuable. In May, this Tarbosaurus skeleton, discovered in Mongolia's Gobi Desert, was auctioned off for over $1 million. But there's a problem.
In Mongolia, if you find a dinosaur fossil anywhere in the country, it belongs to the people of Mongolia. This skeleton is in the United States illegally.
Smuggled, according to federal prosecutors, by Eric Prokopi, a self-described commercial paleontologist. He is accused of trafficking in prehistoric fossils, like this duck-billed dinosaur skeleton sold at another auction for $75,000. In October, investigators seized 400 pounds of fossils from his home in Gainesville, Florida, and obtained pictures of Prokopi digging up and removing dinosaur bones in Mongolia. Prokopi, 38, runs a business called Everything Earth, which boasts of selling dinosaurs to anyone that wants one.
In fact, there's a global marketplace for the sale of these illicit fossils. So what you're talking about here is a trade that's millions and millions and millions of dollars each year.
Prokopi's lawyer told CBS This Morning the government says dinosaur fossils were stolen, but we have a different view of how the law applies in this case. A legal disagreement 70 million years in the making. For CBS This Morning, Chip Reed, Washington.
Senior correspondent John Miller, former FBI assistant director, joins us now from Washington. John, good morning. So tell me,
Charlie.
What is it you like best about this story?
Well, I like best about this story that we're talking about T-Rex because my son's name is Rex, and he's the force to deal with in my house, and I, of course, am the dinosaur. But I guess
I think of you.
Maybe am I skirting the point, Charlie? I guess the idea is that you picture that there is, you know, these Raiders of the Lost Ark type characters who are going to these interesting ancient places and digging up these things. But I spoke to Homeland Security investigators yesterday, and, you know, these are the guys who do the customs cases, and they say, you know, that's not really who these characters are. They say, you know, Eric Prokopi in particular seems to be a little bit of a one-of-a-kind. He knows his stuff. Yeah. He travels the world, and he's been a prolific dealer in this. What's more interesting is who are the buyers? Right. And of course, we were hoping that the buyers would turn out to be the Kardashians or Lindsay Lohan between arrests. But what we don't see is a Hollywood set or somebody famous. What we do see is wealthy people who want something really interesting for their friends to talk about, to put under a key light in their basement for their 70 dinner guests. I had a case in Belgium recently where you had a lot of wealthy people buying this stuff. And there wasn't a whole lot of due diligence, if you will, to say, well, how did you get it and where did it come from?
What are you drinking in the water down there?
You know, it's Washington, Charlie, and I see this as a city that is always enmeshed in conflict. So I'm trying to be the friendly guy today.
Exactly. But, you know, you make a great point, John. Like they said, a commercial paleontologist. But it is an unusual job. And as you mentioned, it might be sort of a one-of-a-kind job. I mean, who's buying these dinosaurs, and is it illegal? I mean, his lawyer says it's not necessarily illegal.
Well, I mean, who's buying them is as we were just talking about it, it's kind of not the museums, and that's where they run afoul here. So this is his lawyer's disagreement. I very carefully went over, his lawyer, Mr. McCullough, did a very in-depth request to have the case dismissed, and his key point is that this is a 1924 law that says you cannot remove these things from Mongolia. But he said in 1992, after the fall of communism, they threw out the Constitution. So his position is all those laws went out with it. That's A. B, he says, my client doesn't know where these bones came from. They could have been from China. I mean, we have to rely on what the diggers told us. Of course, if you go to the government side, they say, we have pictures of him on the scene. And, you know, his own documentation says they're from Mongolia. And of course, on the customs things, he said, this is a bunch of broken old bones and some lizards that I'm shipping to the United States from Great Britain, and it's worth $15,000. So there's a credibility issue there that's going to be examined at trial.
All right, John Miller, we'll bring some of that water back for Charlie and I that you're drinking down there.
I certainly will.
Thank you.